on December 30th, 2022. The YouTube channel, The Men's Life, uploaded a video where they went camping in a woodland area, which was a location randomly generated by the Randonautica app for those unfamiliar. The Men's Life channel typically features vlogs about daily life, outdoor explorations, and camping adventures. They often document their trips, sharing their experiences with nature, survival tips, and sometimes strange encounters during these explorations.
I don't know. I think we're just gonna have to go with the flow, guys, and just kind of see what's up. Kind of looks like this was an old quarry or something, just the way it kind of goes down.
The first few minutes of the video by The Men's Life, everything seemed normal and uneventful as they made their way to the location that Randonautica had generated. Throughout the video, the YouTuber explained that this particular location had been generated recently by the app. He also mentioned that he and his friends had visited this spot before making this, his second time returning to explore the area around 20 minutes into the video. The Men's Life finally reached the location generated by Randonautica, which turned out to be a small cabin situated in the middle of the woods. While the site of the cabin might seem unusual to viewers, the YouTuber explained that it wasn't entirely out of the ordinary. Local residents had built this cabin to inspect the woods and monitor animals in the area, which made its presence somewhat expected. However, what caught his attention this time was that the cabin seemed different from when he and his friends last visited. He claimed that during their previous visit, the area around the cabin was relatively empty, but now there were several new objects and signs of recent activity still there.
There, the hell? This is straight up in the window. Okay. What is that sound?
At one point in the video, Men's talks about hearing voices coming from deeper in the woods at first. Since it was still daylight, it didn't seem like a big deal. It's common to hear other people in the forest as many people explore and hike in the area. But later in the video, the YouTuber shares something a bit more unsettling from his past experiences. He explains that sometimes people in the woods don't seem to have a real purpose for being there. They're not hiking or exploring. Instead, they just wander around, which can feel pretty odd. He adds that these kinds of aimless wanderers can sometimes be risky to encounter. While they might not always mean harm, their unpredictable behavior can be unnerving, especially when you're alone in the woods, and there's always a chance that someone out there could be dangerous.
I'm gonna try and be a little bit lower with my voice. I don't know who could really be out here. Hearing a lot of thumps and I don't see anybody. Oh shit! Oh. They just noticed me. They just noticed me. I don't know if they're coming. I don't know if they're coming.
Not long after hearing the voices in the woods, the Men's Life claimed to have actually seen someone and immediately referred to them as a stalker. This sighting set off alarm bells for him, and he quickly started running. What made the situation even more disturbing was his belief that the person was following him. He mentioned that encountering a stalker in a secluded place like the woods is especially concerning because stalkers often have questionable motives. They might target people who are alone with the intent to rob them or even do something worse. He pointed out that these kinds of individuals could have bad intentions, but luckily he escaped. So in May of 2015, a man decided to go mushroom hunting near his house. He also runs a YouTube channel called Tomorrow's Garden, where he mostly does product reviews for gardening and shares outdoor activities in this particular video. He was out in the woods casually pointing out different types of mushrooms and explaining which ones are safe to eat and which ones you should avoid. Everything seemed normal, just another educational video, until something disturbing happened that completely changed the tone of the video.
Well, there's certainly no shortage of the pheasant back mushrooms out here. can see, here's one, and then one over here. They look really nice. And then just looking around here in the distance, that tree has a bunch, and then this log over here has a bunch. Take a walk over there. These look pretty big. Yeah, this, I think that one is down there. It's got to be about 12 inches across. And this one looks like it has a bite out of it. And this one. And there's one over here. Looks like it's holding some water. Huh? I think it's time to go.
Suddenly, a loud, deep, roaring noise can be heard. It was so intense that it completely caught him off guard, and without thinking, he grabbed his camera and ran straight back to his house once. Back home, he uploaded the video, but the comments started flooding in. Some viewers suggested it was just an animal, possibly a bear, or some other wild creature making the noise. Others thought it could have been the sound of a tree falling in the woods. But then there were those who had other ideas. They believed the sound was far more unusual. Some of them even claimed it could have been a Bigfooter. Sasquatch, with so many theories flying around, the mystery grew even more intriguing. However, some viewers brought up a different possibility. They pointed out that people sometimes use loud instruments or even speakers in the woods to make strange noises. It could have been someone trying to scare off predators or even scare off trespassers from their land. Though the sound was disturbing, it left no clear answers. What had really happened that day in those woods? To this day, the man is still unsure, but he hasn't gone mushroom hunting in that spot again.
And there's one over here. Looks like it's holding some water. Huh?
Sam from the channel, The Northwest Wind. He's all about stealth camping, and if you're not familiar with that, it's basically camping in secret finding spots where you can stay the night without being noticed, and you don't have to pay a cent for it. Sam does this all across the country, and he's built a bit of a reputation for his stealthy ways now. On September 13th of 2024, he decided to head back to this one particular spot in the woods. He had been to this exact spot before things got pretty weird. And last time, well, he mentioned that he had been chased by some strange people, which would freak anyone out, right? He wanted to give it another shot, even after that creepy encounter.
Be a 31st kind of guy or girl, you can tell me below, but I'm counting this as a month. 30 nights of my life, one complete month I have spent stealth camping for you in glory. And so also
throughout the first few minutes of the video, things seem pretty normal at several points. Sam mentions past experiences where he saw strange people while camping. As he wanders through the overgrown vegetation, he's actually on the lookout for the exact spot where he had camped before.
hopefully whoever was back here last time or whatever, I'm not gonna put all my eggs in one basket and try and say what it was. I think it was humans though, like 99% sure. Trying to get back to the exact spot that I was in last time. We're gonna set up exactly as we were, just with no tent, because I kind of wanted to make it a little more spooky.
So as the sun starts setting, Sam's getting dinner ready, talking about the gear he brought, nothing too fancy, just a portable stove and some packed food. He's just chilling, cooking and enjoying the evening.
Planned. Bottoms up. Oh, that's the best one by a mile. Doesn't need salt, doesn't need pepper, nothing, no hot sauce. Oh! I did just hear someone yelling back there. Someone's yelling back there. I don't know how far away, reasonably close.
But then out of nowhere, while he's eating, he mentions hearing a scream. It was coming from deep in the forest, like 200 to 300 yards away. That's straight up unsettling. And it really messed with the vibe of the night
On purpose, so they know that I'm here. Holy crap, okay. Okay.
After hearing a single gunshot nearby, Sam became alarmed before. The gunshot, he had heard a scream, which made him think that the person who screamed might have had a gun. It was also possible that the person could have been a hunter. What made the situation even more unsettling was that Sam noticed someone standing a few hundred yards away staring at him. The person seemed to be getting closer and closer.
Somebody's there. Somebody's just standing there. I think they just saw me now because where I walked is more in that clearing over there. Somebody's... Hi. Hi.
At this point, Sam couldn't tell if the person was a threat, but there was no way to be sure. Even if someone looks harmless, they can still be dangerous.
It's honestly kind of comedy because at this point, I know what happened here last time. I know people might be back here. I don't think you're even able to see that far with the light now. Hi! Alright, I'm packing my stuff up. Okay, hang on. I'm sorry, I keep knocking. I hear them walking over there again.
So Sam decided it was better to be safe than sorry. He quickly started packing up his camp and gathering his belongings, knowing that the person was coming closer and not wanting to take any chances.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna stay tonight, boys and girls. Ah! Okay, all right, okay. That guy was great, okay, let's go. All right, I'm out, see ya.
As Sam was hurriedly leaving, he glanced back and to his shock, he saw the same person just a few meters away, staring directly at him. Panic set in, and without thinking twice, Sam rushed to get away from the area as quickly as possible.
See ya. Okay.
November 2013, a group of hunters ventured deep into the remote wilderness of Latimer County, Oklahoma, expecting nothing more than a routine hunting trip. However, what they stumbled upon was something far more disturbing than they could have ever imagined. 3 skeletal remains lying in the dense forest. Upon seeing this, hunters immediately contacted the authorities. Upon investigation, officials determined that the remains belonged to 2 adults and 1 child. Forensic testing later confirmed that the remains belonged to 44-year-old Bobby Jamison, his 40-year-old wife Sherlyn, and their 6-year-old daughter Maiden. The Jamison family had vanished without a trace. In October of 2009, before their disappearance, they had been planning to purchase a 40-acre plot of land near Red Oak in the Sandbow Mountains, about 30 miles from their residence. In the days leading up to their disappearance, friends and family observed that the Jamison exhibited unusual behavior, expressing paranoia and claiming they were being watched. On October 8, 2009, they were last seen loading their truck with supplies, including food, water, and firearms, and informed a neighbor of their intention to inspect the land in the mountains. When they failed to return, a search was initiated 4 days later. Their truck was discovered abandoned in a remote area of the Sandboy Mountains. Inside the truck were their IDs, wallets, mobile phones, a GPS system, and approximately $32,000 in cash. Their malnourished dog, Maisie, was also found in the vehicle. Despite extensive search efforts, the family was not located at that time. More than 4 years after the Jamison family vanished without a trace, the case had gone cold. But when hunters found the remains, case seems to accelerate. But with no clear evidence of how the family actually died, the case remains mystery. Several theories have emerged regarding the family's disappearance. One theory suggests that they were murdered by Bobby Jamison's father, Bob Dean Jamison, with whom Bobby had a strained relationship approximately 6 months before the family disappeared. Bobby had filed a protective order against his father, alleging threats and violence. Another theory posits that the Jamisons were involved in drug activity, citing the large amount of cash found in their truck and their reported strange behavior before vanishing. Additionally, it's been reported that the Jamin had told their local pastor, Gary Brandon, on separate occasions that they had seen spirits inside their home, and that Bobby had allegedly claimed to have been reading from the Satanic Bible because there was no solid evidence that the Jamison were actually seeing spirits. Many people dismissed their claims as paranoia or stress. However, those close to the family insisted that Bobby and Sharon genuinely believed they were being watched by something supernatural. The disappearance and deaths of the Jamison family remain one of Oklahoma's most perplexing mysteries, with no definitive answers as to what led to their tragic end.